On Saturday, the former president and convicted criminal, Donald Trump, survived an assassin's bullet. Miraculously. Wow.
They say, that's amazing. How did you do that?
I know, right? Now, immediately the accusations began flying before any of the details had been released, and there's still a lot that we don't know. So we're going to start out, of course, with Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who wrote, "Someone just tried to assassinate President Trump," which is true, by the way. "The Democrats and the media are to blame for every drop of blood spilled today. For years and years, they've demonized him and his supporters. Today, someone finally tried to take out the leader of our America first and the greatest president of all time." Oof. Okay, J.D. Vance then writes, "Today is not just some isolated incident. The central premise of the Biden campaign is that President Donald Trump is an authoritarian fascist who must be stopped at all costs." That rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination. Vivek Ramaswamy wrote, "First they sued him, then they prosecuted him, then they tried to take him off the ballot. The only thing more tragic than what just happened is that, if we're being honest, it wasn't totally a shock. Biden's inevitable ritual condemnation of the political violence today, when it comes, and it did come, will be insufficient and irrelevant. No amount of verbiage today changes the toxic national climate that led to this tragedy." Yeah, he's gonna be shocked to find out who exactly set up that climate. All right. Senator Tim Scott said in his own social media post, "This was an assassination attempt aided and abetted by the radical left and corporate media, incessantly calling Trump a threat to democracy, fascists, or worse." And then Representative Mike Collins simply wrote, "Joe Biden sent the orders." So, I mean, look, all of this is just pure insanity, chomping up the bit to try to get the most unhinged hot take before we know any of the details, okay? Immediately blaming Biden, Democrats, leftists, and then when it turned out that the shooter was actually a 20-year-old cisgendered white man, a registered Republican who at what point years ago had given some $15 to a progressive organization, one of the weird spammy ones that blow up your inbox and demand, and be like, "Oh, money, give us money." In fact, here's one of those. Should President Joe Biden pardon Donald Trump? I don't know how he answered that or if he answered that, but that was one of the ones that ended up in his inbox. But anyway, look, the man, Thomas Crooks, was apparently not a leftist. He was, at least according to his own party affiliation, was a Republican. He was conservative. And according to his own classmates, he was very conservative. Also, a quiet guy, loner, got bullied a lot, got picked on. Max R. Smith, who shared an American history class with Crooks, told the Philadelphia Inquirer, quote, "He definitely was conservative. It makes me wonder why he would carry out an assassination attempt on the conservative candidate." Well, conservative doesn't necessarily always mean Republican. Republican doesn't always mean conservative. So let's be fair about that, right? Now, Smith had called a mock debate where their teacher had made students stand on one side of the classroom or another to signal their allegiance. The majority of the class were on the liberal side, but Tom, no matter what, always stood his ground on the conservative side. Interesting. That's still the picture I have of him, just standing alone on one side while the rest of the class was on the other. Wow. So, yeah, definitely doesn't seem like he was a member of the leftist, transgender, Antifa, drag queen army. So then, once that came out, the right wing immediately pivoted to, you guessed it, critical race theory.
One thing that I have found upsetting, if I can editorialize for 1 second, is the degree to which so many Americans claim to love their country but hate their fellow Americans. And I'm not talking about Republicans or Democrats. I see it everywhere. Everywhere, and I'm wondering if that's something that concerns you too.
It does. That's what I said. The greatest threat to our nation right now is that we're horribly divided. So, why are we so divided? Well, there are political figures, there are political groups. I would argue that's what identity politics is about. That's what critical race theory is about. So there are people who are purposely trying to divide us for political advantage.
You know, critical race theory is literally just the examination of historical racism and how it affects people today. But okay, go off, King, right? It gets more unhinged. You see, they also went on to blame DEI.
Somebody really dropped the ball. You've got a DEI, basically a person, a DEI initiative person who heads up our Secret Service. You know, she was working at Pepsi before this. I know she was a former Secret Service agent, but still, this is what happens when you don't put the best players in. It's a complete failure on our part.
Well, you know, yeah, she was working at Pepsi once, even though she was once working for the Secret Service. But hey, she worked at Pepsi, so what is she doing being the head of the Secret Service? What? Do you guys listen to yourself? Really? Really? Okay. There's more. Here's Lives of TikTok. The result of DEI. DEI got someone killed. And this is Meghan McCain's response to Matt Walsh. This is why the notion that men and women are the same is just absurd. You need to be taller than the candidate to protect them with your body. Why do they have these short women? One who can't holster a gun, apparently guarding Trump. This is embarrassing, dangerous. Matt Walsh, of course, had said there should not be any women in the Secret Service. These are supposed to be the very best, and none of the very best at this job are women. Of course, Matt Walsh would think that because he thinks the only job women are suited for are good at are ironing his shirts because he doesn't know how. Of course, he can't do it himself. No. I mean, again, this is all ridiculous. By the way, this would also disqualify short men. So, but there are also tall women, which could work as well. Again, this is all ridiculousness, all right? Then, of course, you had billionaires Elon Musk and Bill Ackman basically saying the same thing. Elon Musk, of course, officially endorsing Donald Trump after this happened. And then blaming the diversity hires. Ah, yes. You do know that the Secret Service had actually welcomed women for more than 50 years before the current female director, right? Right? So you might want to try again with your, the women's ruined this, the Secret Service. The whole idea that women are dainty, delicate little flowers who can't do any jobs and should be at home barefoot and pregnant. That's why so many people loathe the Republican Party, because they're the ones that put forward that idea. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't issues with the Secret Service. There definitely is. There's a lot of scandal, but this scandal has happened under both male and female leadership. And it's not just for the repeated security breaches that have happened, but also a range of alleged misconduct, which included harassing and assaulting female colleagues, hiring prostitutes, preying on minors, and driving while drunk. So, great, lovely. That's an example of a terrible workplace culture that has persisted for far longer than the tenure of just one female leader. All right? I don't know, they have something to do with the Secret Service just sucking at their job, and not anything to do with the current figurehead in charge of it. If this stuff like this happens all the time and under previous leaders. But anyway, all of this is, again, completely and utterly ridiculous. And of course, honorable mention into this is the conspiracies from liberals who say that, Donald Trump set himself up. He bladed his own ear. See, he was in the WWE. He did that once. I don't know. No. Somebody died, okay? Other than the shooter, there's a firefighter who cut a bullet for his family. All right? So literal, actual victims here, okay? Other than the, bruised ear or bloodied ear of a convicted criminal, okay, who's running for president. These conspiracy theories are doing nothing. These conspiracy theories are hurting the truth. Eventually, we are going to have more information about why a young white Republican male got an AR-15 and tried to kill the former president. Once that comes out, okay, then we can have a conversation on what the motive is. Whatever his reasons, I can't fathom. And of course, I do not and will not condone political violence, whether it's towards Donald Trump, whether it's towards Republicans, whether it's towards Palestinian children or Jewish people. It doesn't matter. Political violence is never the way to go. Okay? It is never the way to solve problems. In fact, if you want more problems, that's what violence will ultimately get you. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.